Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. Tower Talk Business Radio brings you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation, including expert consultants and small business owners who have found success, but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their first-hand experience. And now, let's get down to business with Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation.
Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Nefcu Business Services, along with Denisha Boston Hills, CEO of Keeper the Brand Marketing and Digital Agency. And we're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship.
Ray and I bring you weekly tools and services that help you grow your business, plus we interview the top business leaders in the industry. First, let's jump into Success Chat. According to Peel, success is no accident. It's hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing. Now, that's a great recipe for success, I tell you, Ray. I love marketing and digital, and you love banking. So to ensure growth, Keeper of the Brand, I'm tackling accounting and financial projections. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ray, what's some techniques you observe for accountability in business on the banking side?
Well, it's just that, if you're putting your expenses through the business, you're doing it the right way. So, you're not just putting it through and you're saying, hey, this is my biz visa. You're actually putting the transfer of funds and into the right account and listing the account numbers, keeping everything the way it should be listed, so that if a business advisor takes a look at it, they understand what it is that you're trying to do here with your books. So I guess that's the way I would look at it. Behind every good business is a great accountant. Moving on, helping to provide you with business empowerment today is our guest, Ken Cerini, Managing Partner of Cerini Associates, LLP. Ken is the Managing Partner of Cerini Associates, LLP, Certified Public Accountants. He is a licensed and certified public accountant, financial planner, and diplomat for the American Board of Forensic Accountants. The CW postgraduate has won numerous awards and has been quoted in many publications, including Newsday, Long Island Business News, and the Long Island Press and New York Times. In addition to his extensive audit experience at both Ernst & Young, LLP, and Cerini Associates, LLP, Ken has been directly involved in providing business consulting services for nonprofits and educational facilities of all sizes throughout New York State. Ken, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me today.
You got it. My pleasure. Now, tell me, you've been in this business for a while. Tell me, how did you get started into this?
How I got started in accounting?
Yes. Because I'm sure you woke up one day and just said, hey, I want to be an accountant.
Yeah, I'm actually sorry to admit this, but I've been an accounting major or an accountant since the age of 12. I guess the reason I got involved to begin with is my dad was probably one of the smartest people I ever met. And we had an okay lifestyle growing up. My cousin, he's not listening because he passed away a couple of years ago, but he wasn't really the brightest person in the world. Very articulate and stuff, but not really bright. And he had like 5 times as much stuff as we did. They had $1 million house. I'm like, wait, I can do this.
What am I doing wrong?
Here.
So I said, all right, accounting seems like it could be pretty cool, and I like money, so let's do it. And that was it. That's what kind of pushed me towards the accounting profession.
Well, money is definitely a motivator.
That's cool. So tell us a little bit about the nonprofit work you do.
We work actually as a firm. Cerini Associates works almost 3/4 of our business is working with nonprofit organizations. We felt that the nonprofit community does so much for everyone. And if we can help the nonprofit community do things better to be more effective in their business models, that would be great. And in some way, shape, or form, we're actually giving back to the community by helping the nonprofit sector be more effective. So it was something that we felt from the very beginning that we had an affinity to the nonprofit sector. The nonprofit sector, like I said, is one that doesn't really have the support systems that most other businesses have. They typically don't have the money to be spending on infrastructure and everything else. So we felt that if we could step in there and be that resource to the sector, then we get the psychic benefit as well as the fiscal benefit. So
That's fantastic. So 501c3s, 501c4s, you're the accounting
And
expert.
any 501c you want to throw at us.
Nice.
I'm more than happy to take it.
Nice.
And continuing along that line now, you had this fantastic idea to do something very different with nonprofits. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I assume you're talking about the Imagine Awards.
I am.
All right. So about 5 years ago, we started up this thing called the Imagine Awards. We felt that the nonprofit sector, as I said before, does so much for everyone. Every day, the nonprofit sector goes out there and helps people. I don't think there's a single person on Long Island that isn't in some way, shape, or form touched by the nonprofit sector, whether they live here, work here, or play here. And there's awards for absolutely everything, but there was really never an award for the nonprofits out there. So we said, look, there really needs to be a day where the nonprofit sector comes together in a room and we kind of honor the nonprofit sector. And so we felt that it was important to have an award program for them. It was important to bring them in a room so that they could network and learn what other nonprofits are doing. Through the videos that we show, it's kind of like an Academy Award type event. Through the videos that we show, the organizations get to see what other nonprofits are doing, what other effective nonprofits are doing on Long Island, so they can kind of learn from the best of the best on Long Island. And they get bragging rights at the end of the day, if they win. So it was really a good way to bring the sector together to celebrate the sector for a night.
Now, bringing the sector together, I think that's really key for what you're achieving there. Tell us a little bit about your attitudes towards what they should do as far as collaboration.
Not there. First of all, there are. If you ask, you could find out. Talk to people. There's anywhere between 3,000 and 6,000 nonprofits on Long Island. Nobody really has a real understanding of what that number is because of all the religious organizations and everything. And when you think about it, approximately half of the nonprofits generate under $1 million worth of revenue. So you've got a lot of small nonprofit organizations running around. They all have administrative structures and things like that. So we felt it would be important if you can bring people together and you can share ideas. You can create a overall better nonprofit space, which is important. You're also in a situation where you can bring organizations together to work together and hopefully create some level of consolidation, collaboration, so that the sector gets stronger, especially in today's marketplace in the nonprofit sector where government funding is drying up. There's more competition for fundraised dollars. You're seeing a lot more unfunded mandates and regulations hitting the nonprofit sector, hitting all businesses,
Right.
Not just the nonprofit sector. But in order for nonprofits to be able to leverage and to be able to grow and be effective, they have to find ways to streamline and work more effectively.
You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nass Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill, and our guest today is Ken Cerini, Managing Partner of Cerini Associates, LLP.
Now, Ken, how did you get involved in the private nonprofit sector? What was your niche?
I got involved because I feel like, and you kind of said it before, if you're going to get into business, get into something that you enjoy doing. Get into something that you have fun with. And I know accounting and fun, they don't seem to go together. But when you kind of think about it, if I'm going to be working in the accounting field, I'd rather work for people who, at the end of the day, appreciate what you're doing and you can really make a difference. Again, not just to the organization, but to all of the people that the organizations work with. It can make a difference. I mean, I do a lot with special education schools. So, to sit here and be in a situation where I can help them keep more money to be able to spend on, teachers and therapies and, extra enhancements for their students, and to see the results that they get where those students are mainstreamed back into the school system. And it's, not only is it beneficial for the children that they serve, but it's also tremendously beneficial for the community because that means, less tax dollars going out for long-term, working with individuals with developmental disabilities, because now you got kids who are graduating, getting jobs, going out to college, because you're getting them early enough and making a difference. And if I can help that organization in any little way, then I've done what I feel I set out to do. And that's really why I got into the nonprofit sector. It's not about the money, because I can make more money working with for-profit businesses. It really is about making a difference in lives and making a difference in the community that I live in.
That's so impactful and powerful. So thank you for sharing that. Just sitting here for these few minutes, I can tell you your personality, accounting mixed with this, jovial personality, when you're around those, nonprofits and really just touching the lives of those young people, it goes a long way, and you must really care. So.
I appreciate that. My wife has different choices
I'm
words
sure.
for me. But
Yep.
we'll go with jovial. I'll let her know that. I'm jovial.
Now, a lot of this work, obviously you represent a fantastic firm. Tell us a little bit about your staff, because obviously you're not doing this all by yourself. It's an awful lot for one person to carry.
So first I want to say that, as I said before, we do a lot of work in the nonprofit sector, but that's not all what we do.
Right.
We are a full-service firm, so we do absolutely everything. We have 45 people running around our office. Some of them actually know where they sit, but and their goal is to provide value in every relationship. If we take on a client, it doesn't matter if it's a big client or a small client. It really doesn't matter. If they're a client of the firm, then they deserve the same attention and effort. So we go out and we make sure we surround ourselves with the best people possible. We go out into the schools and we hire. Honestly, our hiring practice, we don't hire anybody with less than a 3.5 GPA, because we want to make sure that we get the right people. Because again, when you think about it, our clients deserve the best, and we want to make sure that's what we give them. And then we go extensive training. And again, the staff, their job is to be responsive, to be effective, to be impactful, and to provide value in every relationship. If we're not providing value in a relationship, I tell my clients all the time, if we don't provide value, go find someone else to work with, because we're not the right fit for you. We don't lose a lot of clients, so hopefully that means we are providing value.
I would say so. And thankfully you have a nice talent pool on Long Island to draw upon.
Yes, we do.
So tell us a little bit about you've talked about now your staff. You talked about your work with the nonprofits. What do you do that differentiates yourself, in terms of the work that you're doing for them? Like, what is it that you can look at to help them be more successful?
I think what you find is most accountants are historians. So when you think about a business owner or think about a nonprofit executive, where do most of the business owners and nonprofit executives spend the majority of their time? Most of them are probably spending the majority of time actually in the present. Mm-hmm. It's crisis management. They're trying to put out fires. They're focusing on today and what's happening today in their business. Where should they be thinking? They should be thinking forward. They should be thinking about what's happening in their business going forward. Most accountants are thinking in the past. They're putting together financial statements. They're putting together tax returns. So if, the business owner should be forward thinking and accountants are looking in the past, again, where does that connection come, and how does that accountant become a good resource to his clients? I think what kind of makes us a little different, and the value proposition that we bring to the table, is the fact that, we try to think the same way our clients do. Not necessarily in today, but we try to help them to focus on tomorrow. We try to help them do planning and focus on the direction they're moving in. If you don't know where you're going, you'll probably wind up somewhere else. So it's really important for us to help them, kind of develop a roadmap as to where they want to go, help them plan in terms of understanding the monies that are coming into the organization or into the company, what they're going to be doing with those monies, how do they put more money back down to the bottom line. And when I talk to a business owner, because we do work with not just nonprofits, like I said, when I talk to a business owner, I tell them, look, there's two things I can help you get. I can help you get more money, or I can help you get more time. Those are really the only two commodities that people can have. So again, that's our goal, is to kind of work with them and find out what their goals are and find out what they're trying to accomplish and kind of help them to get there. Most people, most accountants say, we provide value, but they don't really know what that value is. The other thing that makes us different is I own a business. Okay. Most accountants, they grow up in a practice. I started the practice. I run the practice. My partners are heavily involved in the day-to-day operations of our business. So not only are we accountants, we're business owners. So we're making the same decisions that our clients are making on a daily basis, and we have to go through the same decision-making process that they have to go through. So we've made mistakes. We've done things right. And my goal is to kind of help, or actually all of our goal is to help our clients to limit the number of mistakes they made and help them to run their business more effectively.
You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio. Our guest today is Ken Cerini, Managing Partner of Cerini Associates, Certified Public Accountants. My name is Danisha Boston Hill, along with Ray Schwartz, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation, on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Danisha Boston Hill, along with Ray Schwartz, and our guest today is Ken Cerini, Managing Partner of Cerini Associates, LLP.
Ken, you talked a little bit about how you didn't grow up in a practice and how you started your own practice. Tell our listeners a little bit about how you got started.
Well, I did grow up in a practice with Ernst & Young, where I spent 7 years there. And then I had to make a decision whether I wanted to continue with Ernst & Young or whether I wanted to branch out on my own. And like I said, before, the nonprofit sector kind of called a little bit. And when you're working with a lot of the publicly traded companies that they do at the big accounting firms, I kind of felt like I was a necessary evil, or that the whole audit part of the practice is like necessary evil, where we have to do it or they're required to get it. And I really wanted to be more of a resource to my clients, which is kind of a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
So when I jumped into the practice, it was kind of challenging. I actually said to my wife, "What do you think I should do?" And she said, "Well, get it out of your system now if you're going to do it." Because we had a 1-year-old and a newborn at home. Ooh. And the gross billings of my side practice were less than what my salary at Ernst & Young was. But I said,
I'm not an accountant, but I can do that, man.
I said, "Hey, you only live twice." So I jumped out and I did it, and I haven't looked back. So it was a good thing. I'm glad I did it, and I guess the cool part about it is, as I said before, we have about 45 people working within the firm, which means that there's probably about 120, 130 people who rely upon me and rely upon the decisions that me and our management team make on a regular basis. So it's it's challenging, but it's also pretty cool to know that they have enough faith in me to come work for our firm when they have a lot of other alternatives, and they have faith in that we're going to make the right decisions in helping them to move forward.
Now, if I'm a nonprofit listening, I'm coming to Cerini Associates. Should I be getting audited every year, every 2 years? What do you recommend?
Well, whether it's a nonprofit or any business, I think you have to look at the circumstances that you find yourself in. So nonprofits are a little different from other businesses. Nonprofits have mandatory audit requirements if you cross over a certain dollar threshold. So it's $1 million, you're required to have an audit. Actually, right now it's $750. It'll be $1 million in the year 2021. Most other businesses, they don't have that same requirement. Most other businesses, unless if you have a construction company that has bonding requirements, right. If you have a company that gets government funding that may need an audit because they have a cost report associated with it. If you got financing, bank financing or NEFCU financing, you're going to be in a situation where they may need an audit because of the financing requirements, and there might be other reasons why they may need an audit. I don't know necessarily that it makes sense to go through an audit just for the sake of going through an audit. people have said, and sorry for this, but people have said that an audit is like a fiscal enema. So when you kind of think about that, it is not the easiest thing to go through. I think it's more important to really gain an understanding or assess the business itself. It doesn't mean that you have to go in and look at, an audit for the sake of giving an opinion on a financial statement. It means going in and taking a look at the systems that exist and making sure that the systems are effective. It's going in and looking at how a business does business and determining whether the business could be more effective in how it runs itself. Again, if I'm more effective, I can drop more money down to the bottom line. It's kind of looking at the processes that exist within the business and see if the processes could be streamlined or made more effective. So again, when you look at an audit, I wouldn't say that most businesses should jump into a financial audit unless there's a real reason for having one. I think really what's more important is for a business to go through a review of their business cycles and how a business operates to see that they're doing things effectively, because that's really where you're going to be much more impactful.
Yeah, great.
Now, question for you, a little bit off topic, but
Okay.
One of the things I think that makes you a little bit unique is, I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs and, they're all in their business. And certainly I would describe you as somebody who's all in on what you do. You're also, I don't know if I would describe it as passionate, but you're also very involved. I want to say it's like an athletic thing or, some of the work you do for nonprofits also ties it in.
You can use the word passionate.
Passionate, yes.
It's actually, if you ask my wife, it goes beyond passion. So again, I believe that a business should not define who you are. A business is what you do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to have those escapes. And I tell people, who start up a business, a business can be all-encompassing and it can control your life, and you got to get your life back. So you got to find that work-life balance.
So how do you get your life back? Because that's the thing I'm getting towards.
Sure, no problem. I like to climb. So give me a mountain, give me a frozen waterfall, give me a rock wall. I don't care. I'll climb it. It's something that I got into later in life. I started about 10 years ago. And I jumped into it because it's the one thing that I do where I don't think about work. And that's important. I can go out on a Wednesday evening after work, head over to the rock climbing gym, put in a couple hours of climbing, and I feel like I just took a vacation. And it's important. It's important to get out of your own head. It's important for a business owner to, kind of put the business on the side sometimes and focus on other things, whether that be family, whether that be reading, whether that be vacations, whatever it is. You got to find your passion, and you got to kind of jump into it with both feet to kind of find that balance, because if you just are all about business all the time, first of all, you become really boring. Second of all, you get to a point where, the stress level is just beyond.
Right.
So you kind of have to find that balance.
It's a little work hard, play hard.
I agree.
No, it's work hard, play harder.
I like that. Sage advice from Ken Cerini. You're listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill, and today's guest is Ken Cerini, managing partner of Cerini Associates, LLP. Ken, tell us a little bit about, on the business side of things, Dun & Bradstreet. Is that something that a business owner should be looking at in order to help them grow?
I think any time that you can look at things or you can get rated and show that you're effective in that rating system, I think that's a good thing. Today I was funny because I was talking to a client today, and one of the things he said is he went out to bid on some services. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, now they got my bids in, I want to go check Dun & Bradstreet to see if they have any complaints against them or if they're all reputable companies. So, in today's marketplace where you have information at your fingertips, you really have to, whether it be Dun & Bradstreet, whether it be the internet, you really have to be in a situation where you pay attention to your reputation online and really get an understanding of what other people are saying about you. There are just so many ways that you could be rated as an employer. You could be rated as a company and effective in terms of your business. You could be rated. So you just have to be really, really careful. your reputation is everything. And, you want to make sure you surround yourself with the right people. You want to make sure you surround yourself with the right clients, because reputation, you spend many, many years building a reputation, and in one fell swoop, you can destroy it. I mean, look at what happened with Bear Stearns. It's a great example of, how a company can go 100 and something years and then one mistake and they're gone.
So I'd like to jump back to the Imagine Awards because I think that's really a hot button there. If I'm a nonprofit and I would like to apply for the awards, does someone else recommend me? If I'm listening, how do I go about applying for the awards or getting involved?
Okay, so if you want to, the applications for the 2018 Imagine Awards, because the Imagine Awards just occurred May 2nd of 2017. 2018 Imagine Award applications will be going out in August, September. Anybody who wants can nominate themselves or can nominate a nonprofit organization. The Imagine Awards, if you go to liimagineawards.com, you can get the information to be able to put in that application. So, yes, we encourage all nonprofits to get involved. It's a great thing. Last year we had 173 applications in for the awards. There were 5 ultimate winners, and each one of the ultimate winners received a $5,000 grant.
That's fantastic.
So they should definitely get involved.
Excellent. Now, what are your closing remarks? What would you like to share with our audiences? Maybe tips for businesses or tips for nonprofits? What would you like to share as final thoughts?
I think what I would like to share is that, as I said before, the business shouldn't define you. You want to go out there and kind of find that work-life balance. You also want to be in a situation where you surround yourself with good people, and whether that means good people internally, where you have to learn how to delegate. If you try to do everything yourself, and Ray, you said this before, if you try to do everything yourself, you're just not going to be able to. So you have to find the right people and put them in the right spots and get them to help you to kind of drive that bus forward. In addition, you want to surround yourself with good people on the outside. So you want to find that right banker, you want to find the right lawyer, you want to find the right accountant, and any other professionals that are important to you. The other thing is, when you're going out and you're looking for those professionals, you want to try to find professionals that know as much or more about your business and industry than you do, because a lot of accountants and a lot of professionals are generalists. And if you go to someone and they don't know enough about your business, how can they be a resource? So you really want to find someone, who has done a deep dive into your industry and understands your industry well and can provide real insight into your industry to help you to grow your business. And then lastly, I would say that, there are so many ways to get involved in the community. I think that's important. Also, gain the way to gain more understanding and information about your industry. There's so many trade associations out there. Get involved in the trade associations and find out what information they have to share. You can learn a lot from your peers, and you can learn a lot from the trade associations that are out there. Absolutely.
So how can our listeners find you? What is your website? What phone numbers can they call?
It's pretty easy. It's CeriniAssociates.com is our website. If they want to reach out to me directly, it's 631-582-1600. My extension is 203. I'm more than happy to help. I tell people all the time, just call me. I'll answer any questions you have. Whether you work with me or not, I'm more than happy to be a resource.
Fantastic. And the website for the Imagine Awards?
It's liimagineawards.com.
Perfect.
Thank you. We'd like to thank our guest, Ken Cerini. Thank you so much for joining us today. Managing partner of Cerini Associates, LLP, Ken Cerini.
I appreciate you having me on here. This was great. This was a lot of fun.
Our pleasure.
Thanks, Ken. I'd like to leave you with one final thought from Robert Kiyosaki. Financial intelligence is a synergy of accounting, investing, marketing, and law. Combine those 4 technical skills and making money is much easier.
We want to thank you for joining us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denisha Boston Hill. The creative director of Tower Talk Business Radio is Rudy Breedy. This is a NCC Foundation Business Leaders Council production. Visit ncc.edu/WHPC for more information. Available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, We'll talk with you next week.